Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today is a great day because today the patch 4.8 patch notes have been revealed for Age of Empires 2 HD, of course. And yeah, now gonna talk about those a little bit. So first of all, there have been a lot of bug fixes, which I'm not going in on on detail here. So there has been these things have been fixed for large parts. The frame drops have been addressed. General optimization improvements have been made. The animations have more FPS. The ludicrous map size should now be playable. I think there has been a performance increase by roughly 300%. Which all sounds pretty good. So, but the focus of this video should be the balance changes. So, first of all, I will start off with the general changes and then I'll go to the different civs which have been modified, which are quite a lot. So the first change, and probably also the most important change, is, well, those are three changes actually. It's that arrow slits got nerfed, and they got nerfed a lot because so far they have been quite problematic. They were way too strong, very oppressive. I think one tournament even got decided by tower rushing, by solely tower rushing, which is kind of stupid at the point of the game in my opinion. So it's good that they changed something there. So arrow slits, they got more expensive, so from 150 food and 150 wood, their cost rose up to 250 food and 250 wood as well. And the effect of arrow slits has been reduced from 2, 4, and 6 extra damage to 1, 2, and 3 extra damage for watchtowers, guard towers, and keeps. And they have been moved to the Imperial Age, which was the most important change in my opinion. And also in addition to that, some civs have no access to arrow slits anymore, which are Ethiopians, Goths, Huns, Indians, Magyars, Malians, Mongols, Persians, Portuguese, and Slavs, which honestly also is kinda nice because now having arrow slits makes your civ kinda special, so it is another factor to tell civs apart. So the next upgrade also is pretty good in my opinion. Its elite skirmisher upgrade has been reduced. The upgrade cost, of course, it fell from 250 wood and 160 gold to 200 wood and 100 gold. So this is important in my opinion because usually you don't want to be training skirmishers or even elite skirmishers because they're a pure counter unit. You can't really put pressure on your opponent with skirmishers really. Well, you can do that, but other units like archers, knights, and even men-at-arms are a lot more efficient in that. So you only train skirms when you want to counter your opponent, and oftentimes when you're behind, got rushed by archers, and you try to do everything to secure your economy, you rush out some skirmishers. And have been able to upgrade some leftover skirmishes, or if you want to train some more skirmishes, this is a lot cheaper now, which is good because 250 wood and 100 gold straight when you went up to Castle Age was a lot to ask. The new cost is more manageable here. So next upgrade, next upgrade is husbandry. Got 100 food cheaper, so from 250 food it went down to 100. From 250 food went down to 150 food, and also the research time has been reduced by 10 seconds from 50 to 40. So why has this change been made? Well, it's the research, the upgrade itself isn't so impactful in terms of changing stats because, well, it doesn't give your unit more survivability or more attack. But what this does is it really rewards if you have proper micros. So if, especially when you have cav archers, running away from closing in infantry or pikes is a lot easier with husbandry. You can run away from enemy cavalry units if they don't have husbandry, no access or not researched. And yeah, in general, it also helps you out if you're a pocket player and you want to help out your teammates with husbandry. You can do that a lot more quickly. And yeah, this is cheaper now, which is nice. So yeah. So in general, you could say husbandry really rewards you if you have good micro, and also yeah helps with, especially in team games, because well maps are a lot larger in those. Well, next change isn't as important in my opinion because it just makes fireship being affected by ballistics. Well, I guess it makes fireships even more efficient when fighting against galleys, war galleys and galleons, because well they can't dodge them as easily, they can't micro as easily against you now because fireships are supposed to be the counter to galleys and so on. And while in feudal age this is very much the case, in later game stages, if they are microed properly and in sufficient numbers, fireships have a hard time against galleons. Next upgrade is, well, I personally like this, but, well, next change, you rather, but it is, it's good to see, but it won't be as impactful. So siege towers, they cost 100 less wood now, so they're from 300 wood down to 200 wood. The only time I personally ever used siege towers is either on Arabia when I was playing Malians or Goths to quickly get over the walls my opponent without needing to build any castle or something. So, and they're also a lot faster than rams, so my enemy has less time to react. Or if I just wanted to troll them with Teutonic Knights and stuff, but you can also use rams for that. But making them cheaper maybe encourages more people to use them, which would be nice because it adds more variation to the game. Yeah, next change is, well, I'm not sure how far the tree is a balanced change, but acacia trees are now worth 150 wood instead of 100 wood. So the thing about those trees, or those forests rather, is that they are not as dense as the usual forests, so they're not tree next to tree. Sometimes, well, oftentimes, well, always, there are gaps between the trees. So all in all, they had less wood per square tile, you could say, which now change. I don't know if they have all in all more density of wood per area or less, but they are not, yeah, as little wood as it has been before. Yeah, demolition rafts are a little bit slower now. Yeah, well, their speed has been reduced by 0.1 from 1.6 to 1.5. I'm not sure how much impact this will have actually, because when I was using demolition rafts, when I wanted to reach the enemy, also they did it. Yeah, and the fire galley got minus 5 HP, which does make sense in my opinion, because yeah, fire galleys are really all about their armor and not about their HP. So reducing the HP makes the focus on their armor even bigger. So now these were the general changes, and now I'm going into more detail with the different civilizations, what got changed about the civ bonuses. So first of all, the Aztecs, their military creation bonus does not apply to monks anymore, which is, it does make sense because Aztec monks oftentimes were quite oppressive, and yeah, especially on Arena that's the case. Yeah, it's just very hard to play against a good Aztec monk rush player. So taking that out maybe opens up more strategies, so you don't always have to go for monks when you're Aztecs. Which also meant if you weren't good with monks, but good with micro monks, you always had an advantage automatically if you were not going for them. So this is nice to see. And they get demolition rafts, which will gain them some versatility in early game, because so far you could just get those fire ships in early game against Aztecs or what, and they couldn't really do anything about that because they didn't have access to demo ships or demo rafts. Now they have, which is good in my opinion, because well, it was in Fuel Age at least, it was like one civ was missing pikemen, and if someone was missing, well, spearmen, and if someone's missing spearmen, you would always do cavalry against those players. So giving them demo rafts makes sense, in my opinion. So the Berber cavalry discount is now a staggered one, which, well, this is a change they did to a lot of bonuses, like the Cav Archer, cheaper Cav Archers for Huns, which got staggered, and the HP on cavalry units for Franks got staggered as well, but I'm not too sure about that actually. Yeah, but the discount at cavalry for Berbers is 15% in Castle Age and 20% in Imperial Age, so cheaper units. Of course, so far it has been 20% cheaper cavalry units in Castle Age, I believe, and also 20 in Imperial Age, of course, giving them these 5% more expensive cavalry units in Castle Age. I haven't experienced Berbers to be really that strong in Castle Age, but on paper 20% is a lot, really. Especially in connection with the quite strong economy of the Berbers, which is due to the speed bonus of villages, so maybe this does make sense. But as I said, I'm not really too sure about this. Some others might know better though. Next one is the Ring Arch armor, which Berbers now got access to, which is very nice because I love the unique unit, well, both of them, and both of their unique units got stronger by this, so both the Janitor and the Camel Archer, I enjoy mixing them a lot as well. So yeah, they gain more armor now, which is nice. And next change also for the Berbers, the non-elite Janitors, they get -1 attack but +1 range. So this also does make a lot of sense to me, at least, because giving them less attack and more range really makes their role as an anti-archer unit yeah, it really supports the role of an anti-archer unit. So having less attack means they are less useful for raiding and such. But they still got their attack bonus against archers, which is their main damage source against archers, I'd say. And also this range upgrade is also good, because if you are trying to fight archers and you are losing half units before you could even get in range, this does not really make sense. So getting more range really helps them in their archer fighting capacities. For the Byzantines, we only got one change, which is the upgrade, their unique upgrade in the Castle Age, which is Greek Fire. It has been made cheaper by 150 gold, so it was changed from 250 food and 450 gold to 250 food and 300 gold. Okay, I personally have never used this technology so far, but I guess this does make sense now, because all this 450 gold looks like a lot, and if you would like to use it, can do it in more cases, which is always nice, as I already mentioned, adding more diversity to the game. Yeah, the Ethiopians gain extra projectile size on their scorpions, so they do more area of effect damage, which makes scorpions more useful, which again is nice because you rarely see those. And the anti-building unit, the anti-building bonus of Showtail Warriors has been reduced from 2 in their normal form and 3 in their elite form to 0 in their normal form and 3 in their elite form, which again is quite good because Showtail are a raiding unit, you can't really tell me something else, but they were just too good at raiding, so if you just distract your opponent, then sneak in with a few Showtails, you could take down town centers in mere seconds. So you don't really need to hunt for those exposed gold mines or search his lumber camps. You just run straight for his TC, then take it down and slaughter every villager and just watch your opponent resign. Now you will have to micro them a little bit more. You have to search for villagers which are unprotected, and making the Showtail Warrior as a unit less stupid, which I like. So next up are the Franks. They're throwing X-Men, both elite and non-elite, are getting a buff of plus 10 HP. So this maybe gives the throwing X-Men, which is very underused in my opinion, an extra argument to use them, because well, more HP is making them stronger, more durable, and maybe justifies their gold cost a little bit more. So I like that, definitely. So next one is again a unique unit which got buffs, but this time it's the Hans. The Tarkin got 1 extra pierce armor, so both Tarkin and Elite Tarkin, which makes the Tarkin as a raiding unit more useful, so you can dive onto town centers and so on, which really makes the Tarkin more a raiding unit and less, well, it doesn't make him less a fighting unit, but it makes him generally more useful, and especially in his role as a raiding unit, it's more useful. Or even as a anti-building unit, which is originally was. So I like this, definitely making underused units a little bit more appealing to players. Well, in the same light, I'd see the next change for the Incas. So the Kameyaks got plus 0.05 speed, so they got the same speed as the Samurai or Throwing X-Men now. Well, actually, I have used the Kameyaks from time to time, but they haven't felt OP in any way, maybe a little bit underpowered because we really had to mess up a lot of them until they really got efficient, so having some speed on them might help with that. Actually, creation speed would have been a little bit nicer, but well, after all, I didn't do the balance testing, I'm just reading the patch notes now. Okay, so next civ we're talking about is next civ is the next changes are the Italians. Italians once, I believe, yeah. So their gunpowder discount, got decreased by 5%, so it's minus 20%, before it was minus 15%. It makes them a little bit stronger in the Imperial Age, but when talking about Imperial Age, we should also mention the Condottiero, which creation time has been increased by 2 seconds now, because I've seen it a few times now, that Italian, maybe he got slinked, or maybe just did a fast Imperial, then pumped up Condottieros, which had an easy time against most Castle Age units, and especially because they got graded so fast. When you're Castle Age, you can't really react to those properly, at least not if you're not prepared for their attack, so giving them extra 2 seconds of creation time really makes sense to me. And in turn, decreasing the cost of gunpowder units makes sense, so their focus shifts a little more in the direction of gunpowder units instead of just mindlessly spamming condotieros. And another change for the Italians, which also makes sense and makes them a lot stronger, is removing the +2 line of sight of their fishing ships and giving them instead minus 25% wood costs. So now instead of 75 wood, each fishing ship only costs 25 wood, which is cheaper than farms of most civs. And the +2 line of sight really wasn't that useful after all. Having 25 wood bonus here is definitely useful, and it gives you a reason to train fishing ships when you're Italian. Well, Italians more than it would usually do. So this is should be good as well. So Japanese get treadmill crane. I'm not that much of a Japanese player here really. So I can't really say too much about this, but I guess it'll make Spirit of the Law happy, so yeah, I think that's enough of a reason to say it's good. Next, talking about Malians. I had some problems with Malians recently. Well, not with Malians, but rather against Malians when I was playing against those fellas. They were just insanely strong in early game, so I figured out the reason of this to be their decreased costs on buildings. So each of the building cost less wood, but the problem was, well, farms are also counted as buildings, so farms got cheaper as well, which ended up giving them an enormous economy boost, which kind of felt a little bit unfair, especially when all other buildings were cheaper as well. So the wood bonus only affects, well, proper buildings now, and farms are not longer affected by this cost reduction. And also about their late game, they lose the halberdiers, so they get pikemen with extra armor due to their unique bonus, extra piercing armor, but they no longer have halberdiers, and this should have quite an impact on Trash Wars actually. And also the elite Gebeto attack got reduced by 1 from 14 to 13. Well, I noticed Gebetos to be strong, but I haven't thought they were that strong that they needed to be nerfed. But guess I take it. Yeah, now the Mongols, so the Mangudai, have been changed a bit. They gained their anti-siege bonus back, which has been restricted in African Kingdom's original balance changes, but in turn they lost their big advantage of having 0 frame delay, or attack delay rather, because so far if you were just kiting around with Mangudai, you just had to click on a unit and they would fire the units instantly without any delay, and then you could just run away further. So this makes kiting a lot easier, but it's very, very hard to catch up to those fellows actually. And oftentimes you could just give up trying to follow those, because you would never catch them anyways. Now they have a delay by 5, so yeah, it's a little bit harder to micro those guys properly now, but it's I should mention here that normal Cav archers have a delay of 10, so they still got only half of the delay of normal Cav archers, so this is still setting them somewhat apart. And also getting their anti-siege bonus back, well, it's good for them. And yeah, continuing here with the Portuguese, the Fetria got changed quite a bit. So they cost 250 gold and 250 stone now. Previously they have costed 250 gold and 250 wood, so their wood cost got replaced by a stone cost. And their production rate has been changed a little bit as well. So they are producing food and wood a little bit faster now. They produce 0.8 food and 0.1 food and 0.1 wood more than previously. They produce the same amount of gold, but only 0.25 stone instead of 0.45 stone. So this should really help out with late game Portuguese doing nothing but spamming bombard towers, which felt not really good, neither when playing with them nor playing against those. So this should help out with this a lot, especially making them cost stone, so you can't just at one point decide, okay, I'm getting raided too often, I'm just going to delete all of my villages and replace them with fatal years. You won't be able to do that now because, well, those stone costs, they are quite big. And also the unique tech Arquebus has a small effect on gunpowder units. So this technology made ballistics affecting gunpowder units, but well, it still does this, but it is only 75%. It is reduced by 75%. So the projectile speed, making a spam of their unique unit, the organ gun, less oppressive, I think, because at some point you couldn't really do anything about those. Now, yeah, there should be some counters to that strategy. Okay, continuing with the Saracens, they got a similar treatment to the Mongols, I'd say. The elite Mameluke missile delay increased to 5 from 0, so they were the same as Mangudai, you could say. This was really a problem because when there were a lot of Mamelukes and they were propped somewhat micro, they were microed somewhat decent, it was very hard to play against those. And now it should be a little bit easier to swarm them, although they're still very strong units, of course. Talking about the Slavs, their Boyar, so the unique unit of the Slavs, got his speed increased from 1.35 to 1.4, so a speed increase of 0.04, which is the same speed increase the Teutonic Knights received actually, but I haven't talked about that yet. So haven't seen Boyars really that often. Maybe this is giving them a little bit more versatility, but I'm not sure if this will really convince players to start training Boyars, as this really is a soft stat, and usually players only care about hard stats, at least from my experience. Okay, next one is Spanish. Their team bonus, so all gold generated by trade, it has been 33% more gold, and it now is 25% more gold only, so this makes picking Spanish in a team game less of a must-have and more of may-have, which is kinda good because it opens more, it makes other combinations of civs more viable, which is again more diversity. So more strategies going around, more team compositions, which should be in the end turn out to be good. Okay, next up are the Teutons. I already told you the Teutonic Knights are faster now. They got 0.7 speed from the older 0.65 movement speed, so making Teutonic Knights faster is pretty much all which held them back, I'd say. So maybe we could see some Teutonic Knights now. I'd like that. Alright, we're almost done now, so last two are Turks and Vikings. The Turks got a change which I appreciate quite a lot as well, so their gold mining bonus got from 15% up to 20%. So I always felt like Turks had kind of a problem in early game, because well, they hadn't access to all castle age units, especially no access to pikes, and elite skirmishes was really a problem, so you needed to train gold units if your enemy was coming with cavalry units to counter him. And same goes for archers, of course. But now having 5% more gold really enables you to get those gold intensive counters out, so that should be helping you out, and yeah, maybe make you wanna play the Turks one day. Good, and the Vikings got another very cool change, so their chieftains upgrades is now affecting all infantry units. So, well, so far the chieftains upgrade, which gave extra damage, bonus damage against cavalry units, only affected their berserks. So it was an upgrade which was only affecting one specific kind of unit, which really is in itself restrictive. So if you researched this technology, you had to train berserks, and if you are only having one castle or even losing that one castle, this upgrade really doesn't have any effect for the on the game unless you're building new castles or more castles. So now if you're researching chieftains, it will also make your pikes more efficient. So if you're getting raided by knights or training pikes, or if you're going on the offensive, mixing a archer army with some pikes because your own opponent has cavalry, this is also making the pikes even more efficient against cavalry units, which is kind of nice. So you have you can research chieftains now, even if you're not going to train berserks. So yeah, these have been all of the balance changes coming in patch 4.8. 4.8, yes. And yeah, the patch currently is in open beta, so you can go to the Steam client and download it, but you also can wait for the official release, of course. And I will be well, checking this patch out, play a few matches now, and yeah, let me know your opinions on this patch and your opinions on my opinion on the patch, of course. Did I get something wrong here? Or would you say that most of my assumptions were correct? I doubt that that will be the case though, so please point out what I did get wrong. Or where you disagree with me. So yeah, this is it for today. Thanks for watching and listening, of course. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.